Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I'm going to talk about 3 assault rifles that you get at the beginning of Battlefield Hardline for multiplayer if you bought the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition of the game. You get the CAR-556, the Acwr, and the L85. All 3 of these weapons are available on the operator class, and you can use them universally. That means you can use them on cops or criminals right at the start. Normally each weapon requires 1,250 kills just to use it universally, so this is actually a pretty darn good feature to have at the beginning of the game. Now let's start off by talking about the gun that's on screen right now, the CAR-556. If you've played Battlefield 4, then this is the equivalent of the Ace-21. It does, however, have an even greater magazine capacity of 40 rounds instead of the Ace-21's 35 rounds. The first thing I noticed when picking up this gun is that it has very low perceived recoil. It's incredibly easy to use. So if you're not good at compensating for recoil, then this is going to be an excellent starting weapon. It's got a respectable rate of fire at 700 rounds per minute, and when you combine that with the 40 round magazine, you actually have a lot of time to full auto at your opponents. This means you can take down one opponent, wait for the next guy to come around the corner, take him down, take down even a third, and not have to worry about that reload just yet. The gun does 25 damage maximum, so you're going to be able to 4-shot kill anybody who's not an engineer with an armored insert in 4 shots or less. However, once you go beyond 8 meters, which is pretty darn close, then you're going to start to drop off down to 15 eventually. So you're going to start hitting that 5-shot kill range after 8 meters. Now this gun is already so accurate to begin with that you really don't have to modify it too much, but once you start getting attachments and stuff like that, I recommend playing around with the heavy barrel and then even the vertical foregrip. These 2 attachments work incredibly well together because they cancel out each other's negatives. So the heavy barrel actually reduces your recoil and reduces the spread of your fire when firing in full auto mode, so it's basically going to make your gun more accurate. However, it does have a penalty to your hipfire accuracy. The vertical grip actually improves your hipfire accuracy, basically negating the side effects of the heavy barrel. So if you put those 2 attachments together, you're just going to make your gun better overall. And I've been doing that for most of the weapons that I get. You do need to get 100 kills to get the underbarrel attachments unlocked for most guns, but once you get that standard 100 kills and you're familiar with the weapon, then you can be rewarded with a even more accurate weapon. Now there's not really too many downsides to the CAR-556. I'd say its biggest weakness is just its rate of fire, 700 rounds per minute. Not bad, but also not that great. You're going to be running into a lot of the heavier hitting assault rifles that are going to down you a lot faster than this one can. That doesn't mean that this isn't a good weapon though. It's incredibly accurate. As I said before, the recoil is pretty much non-existent. So if you are a marksman, you can just aim for the head and you will be able to basically drop your opponent faster at those medium range engagements because of your precision accuracy. Now let's move on to the next weapon, the Acwr, more commonly known as the Adaptive Combat Rifle or the Masada. Again, if you're a veteran of the Battlefield franchise, you will be familiar with this weapon. It has seen a little bit of a downgrade since Battlefield 4. It used to shoot 880 rounds per minute, now it only shoots 800 rounds per minute, but it's certainly still an incredibly good carbine. Its main benefits are a fast reload of 2 seconds and a fairly high damage output of 800 rounds per minute, doing 25 damage maximum. So this is going to be a great medium to close quarter range weapon. Now in addition to having that high rate of fire and fast reload, you can also extend the magazine capacity to 35 rounds with the extended mags option. Now this is a really cool feature to have, and it makes a lot of lethal weapons in CQB much more lethal. Or if you have weapons that have a lengthy long reload time, then you can use that extended mag so that you're not going to hit that long reload quite so frequently. You'll usually have bullets left over in your magazine and you can hit that short reload more frequently. That's not really an issue with the Acwr since its short reload is 2 seconds and its long reload is only 2.2 seconds. So either way, you're going to be hitting a relatively short reload. Now its side to side recoil is a little bit high, which means that those longer range engagements this gun just is not going to be that effective at. So again, you really do want to keep it medium range or closer. You can try and compensate for this with say compensators or something like that, but ultimately you're going to be trying to make the gun good at something that it's not natively good at, and I find that that usually doesn't have the best results in Battlefield games. Also, because of the CQB nature of this weapon, it makes it a good candidate for a laser sight. It doesn't necessarily have the best hipfire in the world, but 10 meters or closer you should have no problem hip firing down your opponents. It's going to give you a little bit of an edge over your competition. If you can start shooting before you need ADS, then you're good to go. This is an excellent weapon to start the game with, and it's a great replacement for the R0933, so you'll probably never go back to that gun once you've got the ACWR. Now let's talk about the third deluxe edition assault rifle, that is the L85. This is the only bullpup assault rifle available to the operator class. Now the full name is the L85A2, but since there's no other L85 variants in this game, we can just call it the L85. Out of the 3 assault rifles mentioned in this video, this one has the slowest rate of fire and the lowest damage per second. It's also got the longest reload, clocking in at 2.75 seconds for the short reload and an insane 4.2 seconds for the long reload. This makes it a very difficult weapon to use in any sort of close quarter situation. You pretty much have to rely 100% on your sidearm to get any follow-up kills or need to finish off some damage on an opponent. However, once you unlock the extended mags for this gun, increasing it to 35 rounds, you're going to be hitting that short reload like 90-95% of the time, so as long as you're hitting the 2.75 seconds, it's not as big of an issue. The gun's recoil is fairly manageable. Its accuracy isn't particularly amazing right off the bat, but once I got the heavy barrel and the vertical foregrip combo, I found I was enjoying this weapon a lot more. I wouldn't say I actually like it a lot because its low rate of fire really limits its capabilities and its reload is still nothing particularly great, but it becomes much more usable once you get 100 kills and you can unlock any attachment you want for it. Now it certainly is interesting seeing this classic British AR on a cops and criminals game that takes place in the United States. Probably not the most common weapon to find around in the States, but it is still definitely a classic of the Battlefield series. This one goes all the way back to Battlefield 2. And if I were trying to replicate that classic aesthetic look, I'd probably put something like an ACOG on here, although that might not work out quite as well balance wise. It would still be kind of a cool look. Now that wraps it up for the 3 assault rifles that you get for purchasing the deluxe edition of Battlefield. I think the ACWR is probably my favorite of the 3, and it's an excellent gun to rank up with and get a lot of kills with. That being said, it's not something you would necessarily need to be competitive in this game. There's a lot of other really good assault rifles that I'll be covering in future videos. As always guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.